The second DLC character of Naruto Storm Connections has finally been released paired with balance changes, and I cannot believe this, but I actually like what CC2 is trying to do. But let's not get ahead of ourselves. I've seen a lot of people saying that Storm Connections is finally saved. I've seen a lot of players saying that this patch is dog shit. I would say I am in the middle. My initial expectation was that CC2 will probably touch on armor jutsus and maybe nerf a few of the problem characters, but when I say I like the patch, this is exactly what we needed. But what I also need you guys is to smash that like button, 50 likes and 1000 views, and I'm gonna keep doing Storm Connections content. It's been determined that Otsutsuki Ishiki is going to be one of the latest additions to the playable character list, and he's a fun character to play with. Many of his combos got potential to do easy infinites, his range jutsu feels satisfying, and since I'm a huge heal bash fan from Demon Slayer, I appreciate the heal bash for Ishiki as well. So far he doesn't seem broken, but only time will tell. Most of the characters also got touched directly by either buffing or nerfing them, and the remaining ones that weren't mentioned in the patch notes were also changed up a little bit. For example, Sakura used to have armor on her jutsu, there was absolutely no way for you to punish her, but right now you can interrupt it with a well-timed chakra dash. This doesn't mean the game completely got fixed. For example, Hashirama is still armored on his jumping jutsu, just like Tsunade when she's trying to step on you in the wrong way, and Karin's jutsu, compared to other poison users, is probably the worst. To give you context, Karin's perfume hits you with every negative status effect that you can think of, even a defense down tag, but unlike Hanzo or Caped Kabuto, her poison is awful. I'm assuming the reason of that is because her jutsu probably applies a tag, while the rest applies a different type of poison, but that won't matter for the average player, this definitely needs a fix. CC2 is not the king of balancing, we all know this, but overall the changes were positive in my eye, especially if you realize that majority of the changes affected the way how the game feels to play. You remember how many people were complaining about the armor jutsu? They were annoying as hell to play against, but not anymore. Remember Sarada and her kunai in her second hit? Well, she's still kinda annoying, but not as much as she used to be. Remember the damage of the poison tag? Look no further, because poison tags are not as oppressive as they used to be. Even Edo Minato's Rasengan can get interrupted in the air. Like, I don't wanna say that I'm a top player, I would say I'm at best better than the casuals, but even I had to think twice before fighting an Edo Minato that kept spamming his Rasengan. We also have a brand new event that lasts only a few weeks, where you have to join one of the currently available factions to farm points, with which you can unlock skins for your favorite characters. This is exactly what I've been waiting for, an event with meaningful rewards. Of course, we do not know if these rewards have FOMO, which means fear of missing out, therefore we could very well see them being purchasable on the shop either for in-game currency or on the PlayStation Store for real money. We don't know yet if they will stay, but what I want CC2 to do in the future is to try out even more events, try to implement more game modes. We do not need competitive game modes, that's what ranked is for. And if the funny game mode turns out to be cringe and suck, then we can still play ranked or casuals. We are not forced to do any of them. Especially when you think about that ranked is also busted. Just look at the leaderboards, it's hacked, even on PlayStation. But that's it for the event and the balance changes. For more details on what else got changed, I will leave the patch notes in the video's description and pinned comment. So let's talk about what this means for the future of Storm Connections and what do I think about the game at this point in time. Over on Twitter we can see that Bandai and CC2 are proud of themselves that they released the patch after 5 months. And I can understand why some people are hopeful for the game once again, but I can also understand why the haters are still vocal about not wanting to return to Connections. It's better if we think rationally and not emotionally. If I were to judge this game based on my emotions, I would say 10 out of 10, game of the year, best arena fighter ever, but the moment I stopped to think for a second, I quickly realized that this only means we're gonna have to stick to the game's current state at least until the next DLC character, if not more. Because if you remember, when Hagoromo was released, we had no changes to the game. So even if we get a third DLC character in about 2 months or so, there is not a guarantee that the issues that we do not see yet will get fixed by then. This event was also the prime moment to add a single player story mode that could have been tied to the timeskip character skins that became available, which could have started to regain the trust of the players that claim this game still has no story mode, which it really doesn't have. Overall, great patch once again. I cannot emphasize it enough that I'm glad that this dropped, but based on years of experience, I just know that we are not gonna get anything new, even though this game was supposed to be the best Storm game ever. Just look at what the Storm Evolution team is doing with their version of the game. The other day I saw this tweet where, if I understand correctly, they took Kaguya's tilt and added it to every single character in a way where they have more control over what they are doing. Why did we not get these innovative changes on release? Why did we need 5 months to pass for an update? All I'm trying to say with this little rant to have a healthy expectations of Storm Connections. Don't just hail it as the best anime game just because the devs finally did their job, and also don't just hate on the game because that's what's cool to do these days. For me personally, I will probably play the game a bit more, find out if I finally can enjoy Storm Connections, but I don't have high hopes. Even Jujutsu Kaisen Curse Clash can keep me entertained for a couple of hours because that game is fresh, that game is new. Storm Connections is Storm 4, but slightly better. And that statement probably made half my viewers click off the video, but that's how I feel about the game. Bandai Namco and CyberConnect 2, if you are gathering feedback on how to improve Storm Connections, then here is what I want from the game. Make the CPU harder to play against just like in Jujutsu Kaisen, and change the already existing survival mode by adding some rewards on top of them. And since I've asked to make the CPU harder, give us the option to play with one friend in this survival mode. Since this is not a competitive game mode, I don't care about the balance. Just let me do 2v2, or let me and my boy fight against hordes of Zetsu clones or samurais, you know, the stuff Storm 3 had in single player. Give me the Ninja World tournament from Storm Revolution and let me play 1v1v1v1. Once again, I don't care about the balance, just give me a fun game mode. Fix the endless and tournament mode, but also add the option to choose who I play against. I'm not a fan of you guys forcing me to randomly join lobbies. I didn't like it in Demon Slayer, and I like it even less in Storm Connections. And lastly, 2 of the most important changes that I want you to add, even if you ignore my previous requests. And I'm pretty sure this is what everyone in the community can agree with, even if they disagree with my previous points. Let me leave out games that I don't wanna start. Punish the rage quitters like you did in Demon Slayer. You literally copied over the Demon Slayer Endless mode. Why not copy over the punishment system? Why force me to play with scrubs that are still using Wi-Fi? And also, please improve on your communication. Even if you got nothing to add to the game in the near future, if you tell us that you're working on something new, if you tell us that you're working on balancing some characters, that's more than enough. Just make sure to skip the bullshit PR talk and be real with us. At this point you probably can't win against the hate, but if you keep doing what you did with Shinobi Strikers in the past, then eventually Naruto Storm Connections can become that game that it should have been on release. And maybe one day you might regain the trust of the player base. That was my overall feel of the latest DLC and balance changes. Let me know down in the comments whether you agree with me or not, and make sure to smash that like button to signal boost this video into the YouTube algorithm. Before the patch I came back to Naruto Storm Connections to train myself back to the level where I used to be. Check out this video on the screen if you're curious how badly I played. That's gonna be it for today's video guys. I hope you all have had a fantastic day, stay safe, until next time boys. Peace!